Hello and welcome to the very first video tutorial for Second European. And the purpose of this very short video is to explain what I want you to do over the next 1 to 2 weeks. Remember, we're going to be using Pronote for pretty much everything. It's our platform for documents, homework, when to hand it in, video links. It's all on Pronote. So please don't hesitate to check that. You may remember this document I gave you about 2 weeks ago about theme 3. What we're going to be working on is this objective: to understand the affirmation of the state of France and development of the royal administration, particularly looking at Louis XIV. All these historical figures, all this terminology will be very important for you. Hopefully you remember the word absolutism and constitutional monarchy. We're going to be coming back to that, the Edict of Fontainebleau, the Edict of Nantes, the Glorious Revolution, and so on. So please don't forget these terms and definitions are there to help you. Now, we move on to the other document I have sent you, or put them on Pronote. The chapter, The Reign of Louis XIV, probably one of France's most famous kings, a very long reign. We've read and studied a lot of this in class. You even worked on a timeline. And so what I've done is put the entire document online in 2 parts as PDF documents, and including the section on Versailles. And what I want you to do is questions 1, 2. You've actually done the timeline now, the chronology, although there is a question to do as well. Which events on your timeline strengthened the French monarchy? Which weakened it? To weaken, to affaiblir. The next 3 questions are fairly short. What impact did the French religious wars have on French thinkers? You will find the answer in the text, but please don't copy the text. Try to put it in your own words. Yes, it's harder, but it's better for you. How did Jean-Baptiste Colbert intend to stimulate economic growth in France? Stimulate means to encourage, to boost, or promote. What was the result of the War of the Spanish Succession? The final 4 activities, more complicated, which is why you've got just over a week to do this. Many historians think of Louis XIV as the perfect example of an absolute monarch. Do you agree? Explain why or why not. Remember, absolute monarchy is defined on your DNL vocabulary sheet. You've got to decide if you agree with this statement and explain your answers. That's very important. And it's not always easy, but have a go. How did the policies of Colbert and Louis XIV affect the French economy? Explain both positive and negative effects. You will find detail in the text on this. Try to perhaps do 1 paragraph about the positives, 1 about the negatives. Question 8. To what extent did anti-Protestantism contribute to Louis' downfall? To what extent, in French, means jusqu'à quel point? You're having to make a decision and explain your answer. This is really important to explain it. And the final activity: write a character sketch of Louis XIV, discuss his experiences and character traits. Well, you find out what you can about Louis XIV, and a character sketch would be like a descriptive paragraph explaining what he was like, his strengths, his weaknesses, his interests. Now, don't forget, I'm pretty certain I gave you the access codes to the Britannia Encyclopedia website. You can find a lot about Louis from that, as well as this text document. If you need, or you've forgotten the codes, or you need the codes, just email me at the regular address, and that's where you need to send your work when it's finished. And that's the end of this first blog. I will see you next time.